Scott? It's been a while. It's been a while.
We
Things are
had to,
heating up.
yeah, oh yeah, big time. We had to skip the last Rajasthan match for a few personal conflicts, and now we're back. We're doing a double match preview because we play Punjab in two back-to-back matches on Friday and Sunday, match number 34 and 37 of the IPL. And we're very excited. We're returning home. We Punjab is coming off of probably the win of the tournament, super dramatic win. Things are shaping up for an epic Friday and Sunday double clash, home and home, both Bangalore and Punjab. So let's get right to it, my friend. What what
Let's
what are
go.
your thoughts? How do you feel right now as I pull up the team combo?
Uh, Nervous. I think for the first time going into a match, I feel nervous. This is a good Punjab outfit. I mean, proven, tested, right? Like low scores, they're good with the high scores. We know Arya can get them off to a good start. We know the bowlers can restrict them now. Oh man, it's going to be one hell of a showdown. I think just in the contrary to that, if we do well, it's also such a confident booster too, right? I
Oh
think
yeah.
clearly right now, I think we can all agree that Punjab looks the best team out there in terms of like the balance, but also they've been tested multiple ways, and I think they've done well.
Yeah.
So overall, I just feel really nervous going in.
I think that's kind of where I'm at too. Let's get into the team combination here. So part of the nerves that I have is that I feel like this I put Jacob Bethel here because we had discussed at some point possibly moving Jacob Bethel into the 11 over Livingston. And we that hasn't happened yet. We assume that Livingston's going to get the nod tomorrow. What do you feel good about that? Do you think we should make a change? What would it take for Livingston to get replaced in the 11? That's the only change I see.
As you just short of confidence at this point, really. I mean, he's not he's a good act. He does well in, a lot of good situations for England. Just hasn't really fired well for us heavy. Like I think he played one match where I think it was at Mumbai where he kind of like no, that wasn't Mumbai.
Good job.
Gujarat, yeah, where he kind of just, stumbled along and actually got us to a decent total. But at the same time, like could he have capitalized on that and just gotten us a great total? The answer is yes. And I think that's where you need the overseas players because they're so sparse. So you only get four on the team. You
Yeah.
need that match winner, right? And you need that Liam Livingston to say, like, oh, I'm going to get you from a 240, 140 to close to a 200. Like, I'm going to be that man for you. Just hasn't really been that man for us.
It feels like after four in our batting order from Bartadon, we get really flimsy.
Yeah.
And we just swing from five through eight, really. From if you put Liam Livingston back in here for Jacob Bethel, and you go all the way down to Cronulla, that's part of what makes me nervous. Just feel like the top four has to do a lot of the heavy lifting in
Yeah.
terms of the batting.
Right.
Speaking of overseas players, I'm going to transition now to Punjab's 11. And what you see is that their overseas players has taken a big hit with the departure of Lockie Ferguson. His injury really throws off that balance that you were talking about. And they are forced to play Xavier Bartlett in his place. My first thoughts here, the batting is obviously super deep. They go all the way down to eight with Marco Jansen. Um, and they can even go down to nine with their impact player if they bat first. So they have extreme batting depth, but their bowling looks weak to me on paper after that injury. What say you?
I, to an extent, I actually like how Bartlett looked in the last game. I think when you go up to Punjab, you can get the ball to swing a little bit. He's got some pace. So maybe not in Chinnaswamy, but at least, back at Punjab's home, I think he's going to be quite handy. He's got that pace right up to Lockie. Lockie's a little bit more, he's obviously more experienced from that standpoint. I just don't understand why Inglis came in for Storiness. I know that Inglis is like keeping for them. I just don't. I think Stoinis is such a match winner. I think bringing him back would give them that extra little bit of cushion from the bowling standpoint as well as batting.
Hmm.
Um, they gave it a shot with Inglis, and I'm not getting fired, but it's not really fair for them to like drop him right after. But I feel like um, that might be the one change. I know what you're saying, but like um, I don't see a major disadvantage with Lockheed leaving and Bartlett coming in. I mean, like I like what I saw. I think he's going to be quite handy.
Very interesting. I really felt that I feared Locky a lot more, and the one thing I agree on though is Stoinis. I'm actually surprised looking through this 11 that Stoinis is not there because I just took their 11 from the last match. I could I don't understand English for Stoinis either, and I put some other options down here: Omar Zai, Aaron Hardy. I didn't even include Stoinis because to me, Stoinis is walks into the 11. So
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure why he wasn't there. So
Yeah,
this Punjab 11 or 12 for the next couple of matches, I think is pretty fluid.
yeah,
Stoinis may come back in. We'll get to Maxwell in a second. He seems like his IPL place is always under scrutiny.
yeah.
Are they going to opt for a little bit more pace bowling, all-rounding option with Omar Zai in pace-friendly conditions in both Bangalore and New Chandigarh? That remains to be seen. Let's move on to some of the matchups here. I'm gonna go to the the first matchup here, and I think that this is going to be a really interesting discussion because part of what makes Punjab really scary is their top three. And you see here the sensation. Priyan Sharia, we love that guy. I think he's going to play for India one day. He's terrifying at the top. He leads the IPL in strike rate, even better than Nicholas Puran. I found that incredible. 216 his strike rate currently. They also have Shreyas, who's top five in strike rate. He's going at over 200 with a great average too. And Prabh Simran, who's usually a strike rate king, is only striking at 166, which is 22nd in the IPL, but that's, I think, on the rise as he gets his feet wet in this year's IPL. But we also have two of the green tree planters. Seventh in the IPL for dot balls is Hazelwood, and 13th in the IPL for dot balls is Bowie, respectively. So, do you feel nervous because of these three? Do you feel like it's the rest of the batting depth that's going to get us? Talk about their top three versus our opening bowlers.
Yeah, no, for sure. But the good thing about Punjab has been, you know, that continued aggression and hasn't been out of control. And I feel like the only time they felt under the pump was this last match where they defended 111. But otherwise, you saw 2 or 3 wickets go down. They still kind of, went through and got that 180, got that 200. Just because there is that continued aggression throughout their innings. Arya is super impressive. He's fearless. He's ruthless. He only has things to prove at this point. So I just think he's going to come out with bat swinging, and Iyer is just eating gold biscuits for breakfast every single day.
Oh yeah.
This man cannot do anything wrong right now. His form in Champions Trophy, ODI World Cup, and that it's just been phenomenal. It's
Oh yeah.
just he is on a different level. I think it's kind of reflected on his captaincy. He looks confident. He knows what he's doing. He's marshaling his troops well. I don't have a whole lot of holes in this team to kind of point out, but Yusuf Topsham is just cooking right now. He's kind of been under the shadow of Arya because he kind of Arya took off a little bit, but we know what
Right.
he can do.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be a tough challenge for Hazelwood and Bowie up front. It's going to be quite daunting.
I think what makes me nervous about the top three for them versus Hazelwood and Bowie is that, especially Priyansh Arya and even Prabh Simran to some extent, they had good balls for four. So they read what the bowler's doing and they line up to hit the balls ahead of time. So stock balls like Hazelwood, hard length, I don't see that working. I think if they know it's coming, they pick their spots and they hit boundaries off those good balls, even if they're perfect length, perfect line. think a little bit of unpredictability is what's needed to get these guys out. And I'm not sure our opening bowlers, as good as they've been, have that. So that is really scary because, as you said, even when Punjab has gone 2-3 down in this tournament, they still made a good score. So if they get off to a flyer, I mean, the sky's the limit. Even if they don't get off to a flyer, they still get to a score. So their batting lineup is very scary, despite our strength in opening bowlers. So if their strength beats our strength, I think we could be in trouble there. Let's move on to the next matchup here, which is also very interesting, which is their bowling attack. This is one of the areas where we disagree big time. I think that their bowling attack is not impressive at all, and I think the numbers are in my favor in that sense. They have Arshdeep as their lead bowler. He's been good. 8 wickets in 6 matches, close to nine economy, but that's only 22nd in the IPL, and his strike rate is 17. Marco Jansen, even Yuzi Chahal, they had an outstanding last match, bowling a team out for 90. But if you, even with that match, look at their economy, look at how many wickets they've taken, 1 wicket a match, and they're going at over 10s. There's only one Punjab bowler in the entire IPL that's in the top 20 of economy rates. And hilariously, it's Glenn Maxwell, who is going at 8.46 and over, which is good for 16th in the IPL. So I think our batsmen are gonna make hay. Um, I get that Arshdeep and Jansen as left-handed options have troubled Kohli in the past, but even so, they're gonna bowl seam up front, and even if it's left arm seam, I think that plays into Kohli getting his groove early. Phil Salt right now is on another level, and he's in the top. I can't remember if it's 5 or 10 in terms of IPL strike rate himself. So I think we're going to be able to get off to a flyer. I think the batters are going to, third time's the charm, even if we bat first, where we're going to put up a good total in Chinnaswamy. It's more so our bowling against their batters that I'm worried about. What say you on this side of the coin?
Agree for the most part. I mean, the point that I was trying to make earlier was that they're on the rise now. So their form leading into this match is what worries me more than the numbers. So that's what I'm worried about. I mean, they've got their tail up. They know they can defend a low total. So they come to a ground where it's not a bowler's paradise. That's a huge amount of confidence coming in. And two, we're forgetting two things: Yuzi and Maxi coming back to RCB and causing havoc, right? So like there is that. So um, if everything else goes our way, that's going to go against us, and that's going to be the reason why we lose. So that's there you have it. You heard it here first, right? So you can do everything about talk about like how we can still play Yuzi and we can still play CMAP and spin and whatnot, but can we beat the curse? That's the big question.
I think that's the best point of the match preview right there. And that's a great segue actually into our last topic of discussion, which we have had this discussion by ourselves multiple times, and we just don't really know what to make of it. And that's Glenn Maxwell in the IPL. Glenn Maxwell, it should be said, I'm not going to say he's an RCB legend, but he is one of our favorite players. If you look at 2021 to 2023, he had every season 300 plus runs. And in 2023, he was straight up assaulting bowlers, just striking out 183. And his bowling and his gun fielding. Back in the KGF days, he was very popular RCB player. And we made it very far in the playoffs up to qualifier two with him as an integral part. Outside of the RCB years, super underwhelming record, except for 2014, where he cooked 1 year. And he had 550 runs and went at 190 strike rate almost. Everything else from 2015 to 2020, 5 years, his first 2 years, his last 2 years, this year, I mean, his numbers look like a disaster so far. I just don't understand how a player of his talent can be so mercurial, so inconsistent. Um, are you do you want to see Maxwell in their 11 on Friday and Sunday, or would you rather him be replaced and guard against the ex RCB player curse? I have no idea what to
But then
feel about Maxwell.
who are you gonna bring? Marcus Stoinis? Remember
Probably
him?
Soreness. Yeah.
Yeah, remember him?
Also ex RCB.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think you're gonna go far from like getting away from that curse. Maxi is a right on offer. I don't think apart from David Puttigal and Kunal, like the main batters, like there's not too many left-handers. So taking the ball away really isn't gonna do much for the bowler. So I think bringing back Stoinis might just be something that they would look to do. Maybe not really sure about that. I'm not sure if Stoinis might be replacing Maxi from that standpoint. But you're right. IPL Maxi is a different beast compared to Aussie Maxi, right? So like he has a crappy IPL and then goes to the World Cup and plays that innings against Afghanistan, right? So it's like
Yeah.
who's turning up today? Sort of like Pakistan in some sense, right? Like you just don't know which team is going to turn up. Um, so it's a hit or miss with Maxi. Again, he's going to come back to a ground that's has been, his home for the last 2 years. Um, I just don't see that right now. Even when he got that wicket, it was Venkateshaya, and just the reaction that he had was just like, I'm finally doing something in this team. You know what I mean? Like it's almost just like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Like, okay, 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 I'm contributing in some sense. That's a sad thing to see as a sports lover, right? You just don't want the players to be in that space, and I feel like he goes into that space. I hope he's in that space because that will work for us and against
Yeah.
them. But
He
that's
just
what I'll say about, yeah,
he just looks like a player that's short on confidence, and that
yeah,
reaction says it all. And for his entire cricketing life, he's been a very confidence-driven player. So if he's that short on confidence, I hope I don't regret saying this, but I want to see him in Punjab's 11 on Friday
yeah,
and Sunday.
yeah,
I think we can get him out cheaply. And I agree with your point about his bowling that we have a lot of right-handers that I don't think his bowling will have much of a part to play. So I am predicting that we're going to see the lousy Maxwell, even though he's an ex-RCB player. Let's see if that comes to fruition. But just going through his entire IPL record and this discussion now, truth be told, we have no idea what Maxwell we're going to get. He can win the match by himself. He can lose the match by himself. I think that I'm encouraged by his presence. We'll see in the post match. And without further ado, prediction time. Let's do this. Let's predict both matches, Friday and
okay,
Sunday. What do you
okay.
think is going to happen? We're going to win both, lose both, or split?
We're gonna lose at home and win away.
That's what I think. That's
Yeah,
exactly
just
that's
not because we're losing at home, but I just think that we're better fitted to beat them in their home than we are at our own home, which is sad, but the truth.
I think the same. I don't know why we can't win at home. We've talked about it at length in other shows. I think that them coming off of their best win of the season and us coming back to our home woes is gonna hurt us. And I'm gonna guarantee a loss if we lose the toss again. I just don't see how we're gonna score enough runs to stop them
Yeah,
with nine deep on
right,
Friday.
right.
Um, Sunday, I feel a lot better about because there's a lot of seam help in New Chandigarh and Mulampur.
Yeah,
So I think that it's set up for a vintage RCB split where we're 5-0 on the road, 0-3 at home, and everybody doesn't know what to make of our team. But you know what? I'll take a split in the
yep.
table.
I'll take it.
We should still be a playoff team 8 matches into the IPL if we get the split. So I
Agree.
think that's something that we can strive for. We'll take your leave and we'll do a double post-match show after Sunday's match. Here's to hoping we somehow win both. Till then, so long, my friends.